Hello class and welcome to this Wayne's World NES walkthrough. That's right, yes way. Right here on Video Games 101 by way of Let's Play with Briggins. I'm your instructor, Professor Briggins. And here we are, Wayne's World, the game that made you think, wow, I can make a video game. And then you play it for a couple seconds and you think, nah, I'd never make a game this crappy. But it's so bad it kind of makes me wish that LJN published this one. I'm coming down on it quite a bit. But I have to say, I mean, there's bad games, and then there's bad games that, you know, you can beat them soup to nuts in under 10 minutes, and there's something kind of satisfying about that. And that's this game. And I'm not saying I would wake up and start every day with it, but I do like knocking this one out, and I'm going to show you how to do that in today's class with my TAs. In terms of difficulty, I'm going to give this a 5 out of 10, which equates to throwing your controller across the room. If you're not familiar with this game, you're picking it up for the first time, or it's been a while, some of the platforming can be a little difficult. We'll cover those specific sections as we get to them, but yeah, let's run the intro and get into this Wayne's World NES walkthrough here on Video Games 101. Alright, as we get into the game, you'll see we open with this little intro here, cutscene, not really cutscene, but it's their poor, pathetic excuse to remind you that this is loosely based on the plot of the movie. And by loosely based, I just mean they throw in a couple references here and there. The actual gameplay has nothing to do with the movie. Fighting Barry Manilow records and saxophones that are alive, anthropomorphic saxophones, I don't know. But we take a look at the controls, jump with A, attack with B, pause with start, duck with down. If we hold up and jump, we can do a super jump, but only if we are Wayne Campbell. Garth doesn't have that ability. But what Garth can do is jump on top of one of these anthropomorphic, oversized novelty snares, and just ride to the right and keep shooting. You'll keep from running into enemies if you hitch a ride here. This level is a lot easier if you just do this, so just keep going. Teabag it if the mood should strike you. And then they'll do a little trade-off between the two. Just a lame fourth wall breaking joke. Let's just ignore that. Didn't even remember that Garth's dad was named Beeve, or that he had a convenience store or whatever he's got. But yeah, again, just they really front load it too. Like you know, even if you're remotely enjoying this part right here, this is one of the last instances of whatever this is that you get for the whole game. So anyway, yeah, all the chicks dig Wayne big time. I wish I was as cool as Wayne, and I'm a big dweeb. There you go. This game's awful, but anyway, I'm still enjoying it. So now we are playing as Wayne Campbell, who you'd think Garth could maybe hand us his gun, make this a whole lot easier, but no, Wayne insists on just using his karate moves. And as we kick this cello or whatever that was, we get a super move from that item. We'll have Blaze talk about that in a minute, but right now, our first boss.
It's Scary Gary's Boss Beaters.
Alright, the first boss in Wayne's World. None of these bosses are particularly difficult, but you know what? Gotta show up, it's part of the job. First, we have the record stack, which the manual actually refers to as a Barry Manilow record collection, or stack of Barry Manilow records. I'm a fan, I have to say, but nothing like Weekend in New England to, I'm sorry, just duck and kick, take down the records, Barry or not, move on to the next stage.
Thank you very much, Gary. And in between each stage, we have one of these mini-game levels where the objective is to collect as many donuts as possible. Each one gives you a meter of health back, just like real life. And if we collect them all and get to the exit in time, we get an extra life. Usually we can just do a jump or a super jump to get to most of these shelves. Some of them are a bit more difficult to access. I find it easier to come in from a lower altitude than dropping in from a higher one. But anyway, let's throw it to Blaze for an items overview of Wayne's World.
Alright, Wayne's World is short on an awful lot of things, and that extends to its items as well. In fact, we don't even have multiple items, it's just singular, one item, and they couldn't even be bothered to give it a nice or interesting design. The power-up is literally a pea, come on. Put a little effort into it, people behind Wayne's World, but as far as what it does, it gives you 2 health back, and it upgrades the attack power of Wayne or Garth for a limited time. With Garth, it spreads out the shooting on his gun to go at a 45-degree angle up and below you, and with Wayne, it does the Wayne on Ice move, which you'll practically never be seeing this in the entire game, outside of probably the first level, but there you go. The P, the one and only power-up in Wayne's World.
Alright, thank you very much, Blaze. And one of the Briggs notes, which reminds me we need to throw that up here in a second, is to jump at the very edge of every ledge, but, boss time.
Boss beaters.
Alright, the bouncer guy. There's a few of these guys in the level, but there's one of them to close out the level, so he's the closest thing to a boss in this one. I don't count Stacy, but the bouncer guy. Just get close, keep kicking, take him down.
Thank you very much, Gary. As they shoehorn a little bit more of that plot into the game. Quite awkwardly, I might add. We have another one of these bouncer guys at the end, but let's take a look now at the Briggs notes for Wayne's World. Jump at the very edge of platforms, I mentioned that. Always be shooting with Garth, and perhaps most importantly, maybe just watch the movie instead. As we get to another donut level. Oh, there's Cassandra, and then donuts. There we go. Let's throw it to Fluff for a Fluff fact about Wayne's World.
This game is so bad that I don't even have any interesting facts to share about it. The only thing to say about the game itself is that it's just a prime example of a quick and lazy attempt to make a buck out of video gameizing a popular property of the time. So instead, I'll share some fun facts about the Wayne's World movie itself, which this game is supposedly supposed to be based on instead. Like Bohemian Rhapsody, it's famously featured in one of the most famous scenes from the movie, as Wayne, Garth, and a few of their friends are driving around blasting and lip-syncing. The producers wanted them to use Guns N' Roses in that scene, as they were one of the biggest bands on the planet in 1992, but Myers insisted on Queen's Pocket Symphony. Although Freddie Mercury died 3 months before the film was released, Myers gave a tape with that scene to Queen guitarist Brian May to share with Freddie, who purportedly laughed and loved it shortly before he passed away. The film is actually hugely responsible in making that song into the legend that it is today. A new version of the Bohemian Rhapsody music video was released after the film to capitalize on the success and to Myers' embarrassment, and featured scenes from Wayne's World interspersed with the original video. Specifically, Myers was quoted as saying that he just whizzed on a Picasso. One last bit that makes me laugh, the headbanging bit that they did in the car scene took 4 hours to shoot. So Dana Carvey, who played Garth, explained that he and Myers, they frequently reach for Advil painkillers to manage the literal pain in their necks.
Good call, thank you, Fluff. Yeah, it's one of the things you don't think about when you're watching the movie, like, hey, they probably had to shoot that for 4 hours, but anyway, I think we have another boss coming up. Let's throw it back to Gary.
Boss beaters.
Alright, Pink Ninja. Where was this in the Wayne's World movies? I don't know, but just shoot. Just shoot.
It's a waste of your talents, Gary. Thank you for doing it just the same. As it's time for some more donuts. Be nice if Ed O'Neill could make a cameo in this game, or, at least a likeness of him, but this place looks more like a jewelry store, some of these cases, than a donut shop. You think they could at least vary up the presentation of the shelves, the heights, just make a couple tiny tweaks, but no. Everything is very lazy in this game. The very just empty backgrounds, solid colors, just looks like every shop in this game is a massive warehouse. No, not thumbs up, thumbs down. Very bad game. Alright, these last 2 levels are actually a little more difficult. These TV screens that come alive and come out of the picture and attack you, they seem pretty manageable if you kick them with the right rhythm, but if you're a little bit off rhythm or one of them hits you, it'll easily throw you off rhythm, and it's difficult to recover as it just bounces off of you, and you get a very short moment to recollect yourself and try to defend yourself again and just keep smacking you, so those can be a little difficult. We have another boss coming up here. Gary?
Boss beaters.
Alright, the Rent-A-Cop. You just want to inch closer and closer until you kick and make contact. Don't move any closer at that point. Just keep kicking. You'll take him down. There's like an inch between where he can hit you and you can hit him. So find that distance, start kicking, take him down.
Thank you very much, Gary. And this is where we really do want to practice that edge of the platform jumping. Now, I'll admit it can be kind of misleading as to where the actual edge of the platform is. That was a little too early on my part, but another Rent-A-Cop guy. Not really giving it his all. Not really buying in. Sort of the vibe for the entire game. Embodied in one character. His pants kind of falling down. Poor posture. Not really caring. That was a good jump right there. Watch out for the oddly shaped, it looks more like light bulbs. You want to make that jump just as you see that drop coming from the ceiling, by the way. If you come in with a good rhythm to begin with, then you can just gun it like I did there, but otherwise, the pattern is just basically start moving at the edge and jump once you see that water dropping in from the top in that rhythm. But got Bohemian Rhapsody stuck in my head now. I want to acknowledge it was a big hit in the UK when it came out. It just took Wayne's World for it to catch on in the States years later. Good chance to top off our health though before the next stage. This is going to be another two-parter where we play as Garth and Wayne. They each had a solo level there. I don't know if you clocked that. Maybe you fell asleep or tuned out by now. I would not blame you. 8 lives. Yes, thumbs up this time because this is the last level. ABF. Second Briggs note, always be firing. It's going to move up a little bit, then back up a little bit. Kind of the rule on level 3 when we were Garth. Just move out a little bit till we spawn some enemies and then move back. In that case, we just kind of walk through the whole time. Not really sure why we fought through that last area if Garth was just going to come back here, but I guess we're finally roughly where we're meant to be. Mind the black cats. The high jump is clutch right here just for avoiding enemies. Really do have to get right at the edge. They love that wind mechanic in these games. Oh, okay. Again, all we're doing is validating that first Briggs note right there. That's what I was trying to do. There's 3 outdoor stages we have to contend with here. Not sure who the advertising I feel like every building, every business in this game uses the same advertising company. Just go straight for that door there. It's really dangerous. You can just get in this never-ending cycle of getting smacked about by projectiles and what have you, and the damage adds up quickly. But yeah, these really basic, useless, difficult to read and see signs. I digress. Final boss, Gary, take us home.
Boss beaters.
Alright, Rob Lowe, the final boss in Wayne's World. Thankfully, this game is almost over. Not much of a strategy here. I've tried a lot of them. All you need to do is get close and keep kicking. You'll stun lock him more than he'll be able to get shots back at you, maybe 1 or 2, but as long as you have a little bit of health at this point, you will take him down, no problem.
Ironically, he looks more like Christopher Walken, who was the antagonist in Wayne's World 2 there, than Rob Lowe, if you ask me. Kind of like a buff 70s or 80s version of Chris Walken, but excellent. Yes, excellent that this game is over. We do one of these classes every single week, usually on a better game. Please consider subscribing. Click the like button, it really does help us out. Leave a comment. How much do you hate this game? We'd love to hear about it. Until then, we'll see you next week in the same spot for next week's class. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and comment on this video, and click subscribe if you haven't already, as this seriously helps me to keep making great content for you. And check the description of this video to see what song is playing right now.
I was swearing 1 and 1 and 4 it comes to 2, but it's 5. Picking out the right